Hey there, folks. I'm here to just show you a quick video tutorial of the alpha for the game LittleWars by Hexadivisional Interactive. Right here's the start screen to start up any game. You can click single player or two player, though for this particular build there is just the two player local version. Um, Most of these UI elements are placeholder. Although you can interact with these different map buttons to choose from different test maps. In fact, you have to pick at least one for the to proceed. Right now I'm going to just show you the basic mechanics in the debug map, which is just a small, plain, simple one that makes it easy to set up situations for us really quick. Uh, so as you saw that thing pop up in the center, that's the phase display. It tells you what phase you're in and whose turn it is, as well as you can tell whose turn it is by the color of the little action box here. So right now it's the deploy phase, where I click on one of these buttons to select what kind of unit I want to place on my back line. These blue and red lines. Notice you can only place it on the back line that belongs to you. So you can place some units down. You have infantry, cavalry. Infantry and cavalry are about the same in what they do, except for the fact that cavalry have a faster move speed. Oh, and if you click on this X button, you can then deselect units, so you have more control over what you're placing. Right now I'm just going to make two cannons, well, manable cannons, because you see, with these cannons icons, you have to have at least 3 of some unit type that you own next to them to be able to move them and to shoot them. So I'm just setting it up so they're like that to begin with. Actually, here I'll just do a little example of for player 2 of what happens if you don't put them together. So here's 3 cavalry, a cannon over there. So now we're in the move phase of player 1. I can click on the unit, I'll highlight what tiles he can go to. Oh, by the way, you can scroll in and out with the scroll wheel to zoom. And if your computer has touch screen, you can actually touch the screen and zoom in and out with pinch zoom and that kind of way, and click and drag. But anyway, so I click on what I want to do. So I'm going to move my guys all up together. Go to player 2. If you notice, this cannon is not highlighted because there was nobody around. There was not at least 3 units around to man him, so he can't be moved. So instead, I'm going to move some infantry into position, some cavalry into position, and then switch back. Now we're in the cannon phase, although since we've moved, both of these moved or were inactive, we cannot fire them, so I'm just going to pass. Although this cannon is now active because, as you saw, I had moved some infantry to it. So now it's active, and we can LARP down, which brings up our cannon control UI. Pretty self-explanatory, really, in how it works. You click on the buttons to go left, right, look up, look down. This adds to the power. It has a little tracker. You line up a good shot, and poof, you shoot. Oh, nice. So if you notice, that guy got deleted, but this one didn't. That's intentional, because you have to, the first thing you hit is always deleted, but after that, if you don't knock it over, it doesn't get removed. It just gets put back where it was last set up. So we shot that. To exit out of the UI, the cannon control, we click this little button. We're done. No more cannons to fire. Change turn. Now all we can do is move this guy, but because we can't fire this cannon anymore because we killed most of the units that were activating it. And now, because I only have one of the players has less than 3 units, when I pass this phase here to the start again, it's going to fade out because we won. So that's one of the win states, is to destroy the other player's units until he has less than 3 units left. So then we can quit the application, replay with the exact same map we wanted, or go back to menu, pick another game mode. So I'm just going back to menu. to, we'll still do debug. So now, real quick, I'm going to show the mechanics for infantry fighting each other, which is the other way to destroy units. So I'm just going to make a bunch of cavalry because they've got a bigger move speed. Okay. And I'm going to move it some little clusters up here. And switch over. Alright. And yeah, so now when I moved all these units in, like you saw, and they were within one tile of adjacent to an enemy, they are set as a combat tile. And then after you end your move phase, it looks for all the combat tiles, and if there are any combat to do, it builds these combat areas, which you can see with the highlighted units. So this group here is a combat area, this is a combat area, this is a combat area. And the way each combat area is resolved is currently very simple, of just the biggest quote-unquote wins. So this side's going to win, it's going to have one red person. These are equal, so no one's going to win, quote-unquote win, and both are going to be completely destroyed. And this red is going to get deleted, and this blue is going to get removed, and these two will remain. And you click on the end phase to resolve that. Boom. And because that attack phase ended and then went to the move phase, and there was only two left, the game ended. Now, last thing to show is just one more way to win. So we'll replay. I'm just gonna make 3 of each so that it doesn't have us lose automatically. And there we go. Then I'm just gonna move one guy down. And if you notice also, these scores have been changing whenever a unit was killed or after units were deleted. And the way it works is whenever a unit is removed from play, their point value is added to the other player's score. So for example, this guy gets deleted, his point value gets added to player 2, and vice versa. And so what that means is theoretically, if you deploy all your units, players have the exact same score, and you can only really trade points by doing combat. So you only ever want to get into combat when you think you're going to win. But if you delete the other person's units with your cannon shots, that doesn't cost you anything, and that's the best way to increase your score. And you kind of have to use combat a bit more as a defensive measure, and it's meant to simulate kind of the strategy of war in that regard. Anyway, let's continue here. Alright, so the other way to win is to just place your unit past the other player's backline, so from here down. Do that, and then if you end your turn with a unit there, it will then end the game. And if you notice, player 1 just got a 100-point bonus. So even if a player is really close to being decimated, only has 3 or 5 units left, but if they can just get across the player's backline, or do that while defending, they'll get a massive point bonus that will possibly steal the win from them. So that's the game. You can go back, replay, or of course just quit. Thank you for your time, and that is all.